Armenia, also known as the Ostikanate of Armenia, Emirate of Armenia, was a political and geographic designation given by the Muslim Arabs to the lands of medieval Armenia, Caucasian Iberia, and Caucasian Albania following the conquest of these regions in the 7th century. Though the caliphs initially permitted an Armenian prince to represent the province of Armenia in exchange for tribute and the Armenians' loyalty, during times of war, Caliph Abd al-Malik ibn Marwan introduced direct Arab rule of the region, headed by an ostikan with his capital in Dvin. History. Early period. The first Arab expedition reached Armenia in 639 AD. Dvin was captured and pillaged during this raid on 6 October 640. A second invasion took place in 642–643 and a third in 650, which captured some land north of Lake Van. According to Bishop Sabios, in January 642, the Arabs took the city of Dvin by storm, slaughtered 12,000 of its inhabitants and carried away 35,000 into slavery. Armenia, however, remained under Byzantine suzerainty until 653–654, when Theodore Stani voluntarily conceded Arab suzerainty and was recognized as autonomous Prince of Armenia in return. According to this agreement, Armenia was recognized as an autonomous state subject to an annual tribute and a contribution of 15,000 troops to the Arab army. With Arab aid, Rhstuni repelled Byzantine attacks, and Arab troops even captured Theodosiopolis in 655, and cemented the control of the country by taking Rhstuni to Damascus and appointing his rival Hamazasp Mamukonian in his stead. The outbreak of the Muslim civil war in 657 led to the recall of the Arab troops to Syria. Thereupon the Byzantines reasserted their authority over the country, aided by Mamukonian. In 661, however, the victor of the Muslim civil war Muawiyah ordered the Armenian princes to resubmit to his authority and pay tribute. In order to avoid another war, the princes complied. The Arab policy of demanding that the tribute be paid in money had an effect on Armenian economy and society. Coins were struck in Dvin. The Armenians were forced to produce a surplus of food and manufactured goods for sale. A strong urban life was developed in Caucasia as the economy revived. Establishment of direct Muslim control. For most of the second half of the 7th century, Arab presence and control in Armenia was minimal. Armenia was considered conquered land by the Arabs, but enjoyed de facto autonomy, regulated by the treaty signed between Rhstuni and Muawiyah in 654. The Armenian princes were submitted to relatively low taxation and the obligation to provide soldiers when requested, for which the princes were to be paid an annual subsidy of 100,000 dirhams. In exchange, no Arab garrison or official was installed in Armenian lands, and Arab assistance was even promised in the event of Byzantine attack. The situation changed in the reign of the Caliph Abd al-Malik. Beginning in 700, the Caliph's brother and governor of Azerbaijan, Muhammad ibn Marwan, subdued the country in a series of campaigns. Although the Armenians rebelled in 703 and received Byzantine aid, Muhammad ibn Marwan defeated them and sealed the failure of the revolt by executing the rebel princes in 705. Armenia, along with the principalities of Caucasian Albania and Caucasian Iberia, was grouped into one vast province called Al-Armenia, with its capital at Dvin, which was rebuilt by the Arabs and served as the seat of the governor and of an Arab garrison. For much of the remaining Umayyad period, Armenia was usually grouped together with Azerbaijan and the Jazeera into a single super-province. Armenia was governed by an Emir Wali headquartered at Dvin, whose role however was limited to defense and the collection of taxes. The country was largely run by the local princes, the Nakara. The province was formally established. The Emirate of Armenia was divided into 4 regions: Armenia I, Armenia II, Armenia III, Armenia IV. The local nobility was headed, as in Sasanian times, by a prince, a title which in the 9th century, beginning probably with Bagrat II Bagratuni, evolved into the title of Prince of Princes or Presiding Prince. Acting as the head of the other princes, the Ostikan was answerable to the Arab governor, being responsible for the collection of the taxes owed to the caliphal government and the raising of military forces when requested. A census and survey of Armenia was undertaken c. 725, followed by a significant increase in taxation so as to finance the caliphate's increasing military needs in the various fronts. The Armenians participated with troops in the hard-fought campaigns of the Arab-Khazar Wars in the 720s and 730s. As a result, in 732, Governor Marwan ibn Muhammad named Ashot III Bagratuni as the presiding prince of Armenia, an act which essentially reconfirmed the country's autonomy within the caliphate. With the establishment of the Abbasid Caliphate after the Abbasid Revolution, a period of repression was inaugurated. Caliph al-Safa subdued the Armenian rebellion of 747 to 750 with great brutality, and his successor al-Mansur revoked the privileges and subsidies of the Nakara and imposed harsh taxation, leading to the outbreak of another major rebellion in 774. The revolt was suppressed in the Battle of Bagrev and in April 775. The failure of the rebellions, or the near extinction, reduction to insignificance or exile to Byzantium of some of the most prominent Nakara families, most importantly the Mamikonian. In its aftermath, the caliphate tightened its grip on the Transcaucasian provinces. The nobility of neighboring Iberia was also decimated in the 780s, and a process of settlement with Arab tribes began which by the middle of the 9th century led to the Islamization of Caucasian Albania, while Iberia and much of lowland Armenia came under the control of a series of Arab emirates. At the same time, the power vacuum left by the destruction of so many Nakara clans was filled by 2 other great families, the Artsruni in the south and the Bagratuni in the north. Despite several insurrections, the Emirate of Armenia lasted until 884, when the Bagratuni Ashot I, who had managed to win control over most of its area, declared himself king of the Armenians. He received recognition by Caliph al-Mu'tamid of the Abbasid dynasty in 885 and Byzantine Emperor Basil I of the Macedonian dynasty in 886. Ashot was swiftly able to expand his power, through family links with the 2 next most important princely families, the Artsruni and the Sinis, and through a cautious policy towards the Abbasids and the Arab Emirates of Armenia. By the 860s he had succeeded in becoming, in fact, if not yet in name, an autonomous king. Arab governors of Armenia, early governors. These are reported as governors under the caliphs Uthman and Ali, as well as the early Umayyads, Hudayfa ibn al-Yamin, al-Mafira ibn Shuba, al-Kashim ibn Rabra ibn Umayyah ibn Abiz al-Thaqafi, Habib ibn Maslama al-Fihri, al-Asith ibn Qiz al-Kindai, Mahalib ibn Abi Sufra, emirs. With the submission of Armenia to Muhammad ibn Marwan after 695, the province was formally incorporated into the caliphate, and an Arab governor installed at Dvin. Muhammad ibn Marwan, represented by the following deputies: Uthman ibn al-Walid ibn Uqba ibn Aban Abi Mu'ayt Abdullah ibn Haytham al-Bahili, Abd al-Aziz ibn Haytham al-Bahili, Maslama ibn Abd al-Malik, al-Jarrah ibn Abdullah al-Hakami, Maslama ibn Abd al-Malik, al-Jarrah ibn Abdullah al-Hakami, Maslama ibn Abd al-Malik, Marwan ibn Muhammad, Said ibn Amr al-Harashi, Marwan ibn Muhammad, Ishaq ibn Muslim al-Ukaili, Abu Ja'far Abdullah ibn Muhammad, Jazad ibn Yazid ibn Zafir al-Sulami, Sulayman, Salih ibn Sabai al-Kindai, Bakr ibn Muslim al-Ukaili, Al-Hasan ibn Qataba, Jazad ibn Yazid ibn Zafir al-Sulami, Uthman ibn Umara ibn Quraim, Khuzama ibn Kazim, Yusuf ibn Rashid al-Sulami, Jazad ibn Maziyad al-Shaybani, Abd al-Qadir, Sulayman ibn Yazid, Jazad ibn Maziyad al-Shaybani, Asad ibn Yazid al-Shaybani, Muhammad ibn Yazid al-Shaybani, Khuzama ibn Kazim, Asad ibn Yazid al-Shaybani, Ishaq ibn Sulayman, Khalid ibn Yazid ibn Maziyad, 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 Muhammad ibn Khalid, Abu Sa'id Muhammad al-Marwazi, Yusuf ibn Abi Sa'id al-Marwazi, Bagha al-Kabir, Muhammad ibn Khalid, Ali ibn Yahya al-Armani, Al-Abbas ibn al-Mustain, Abdullah ibn al-Mutaz, Abi al-Sajdad, Isa ibn al-Shaykh al-Shaybani, Jafar al-Mufavid, Muhammad ibn Khalid, presiding princes of Armenia.